EU's staunch anti-Russia stance is now facing open revolt across ally nations. The momentum is shifting towards stopping Ukraine war aid and engaging with Russia to end the 4-year-long war. And Italy is now at the center of this political earthquake. Lawmakers from Italy's populist, right inside the ruling coalition, are openly calling to dump Zelensky and shut what they call the Ukraine gravy train.
Enough money for Zelensky? We believe that sending further weapons does not help the peace process. A peace reached today would offer better conditions than a peace reached tomorrow. Sending further billions of euros of Italian taxpayers' money into hands that have not always shown for honesty does not protect the interests of Italians.
The revolt is now formal. An amendment has been tabled inside Italy's parliament to block fresh money and weapons for Ukraine. Zelensky's war funding is being framed as a betrayal of Italian national interest, as lawmakers accuse Rome of bleeding money abroad, while crime surges at home.
We would prefer this money to be used for the security of Italians, to increase the number of law enforcement personnel, which today is unfortunately inadequate in the face of the criminal escalation gripping our cities. We will see how many patriots vote in favor of Italians.
As Italy's populist right turns on Kyiv, Giorgia Meloni is trying to balance Ukraine's support with rising domestic anger. She is now openly calling for Europe to start talking to Russia, while rejecting any Italian troop deployment to Ukraine.
I believe the time has come for Europe to also speak with Russia, because if Europe decides to be part of this phase of negotiations by speaking only to one of the two sides involved, I fear that in the end, it will see the positive contribution it can make as limited.
Meloni is warning Europe that chaos in talks with Moscow would only strengthen Vladimir Putin. She is backing deterrence and security guarantees, but drawing a clear line against sending Italian soldiers to Ukraine.
I have always said the only way to guarantee peace is deterrence. Deterrence builds peace, not weakness. Sending soldiers to reinforce the Ukrainian army can be an extra step, but I do not consider it necessary from Italy.
Zelensky, meanwhile, is pushing allies for more money, more weapons, and deeper military backing. Even as Europe fractures politically, Kyiv is demanding that Western funding and military aid continue without pause.
We will increase the number of brigades. There is money in the programs, and they will continue to grow. We must also work on the provisioning of the army, on sufficient supply of drones and other equipment. Peace is needed, but trust and security guarantees are the only real basis for peace.
This is the new NATO fault line over Ukraine. Italy's populist right is calling to dump Zelensky. France wants talks with Putin. Europe is split between diplomacy and deterrence. And as BRICS challenges Western financial dominance, and the dollar is increasingly seen as a geopolitical weapon, war fatigue is rising across European capitals. Ukraine wants more money. Europe is starting to ask how long it can keep paying the bill.